Evacuation efforts in Ukraine's port city of Mariupol stalled for a second straight day amid continued shelling by Russian forces. This despite a ceasefire announcement by the Russian Defense Ministry. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has appealed so far unsuccessfully for establishing a no-fly zone over Ukraine, a call Western powers reject.
I think there are a lot of things we can do to help Ukraine protect itself, both from airstrikes and missile strikes, but I think that people need to understand what a no-fly zone means. It's not some rule you pass that everybody has to oblige by. It's the willingness to shoot down the aircrafts of the Russian Federation, which is basically the beginning of World War III.
Russian forces continue pounding civilian and residential infrastructure with shelling in Ukrainian cities. Western powers, meanwhile, continue increasing sanctions on Russian President Vladimir Putin and those closest to him, sending tumbling the value of the Russian ruble. Putin called sanctions a declaration of war as he himself wages one on his neighbor.
This is not an easy way forward for President Putin. And as you know, we got 141 votes against the Russians at the Security Council. They are isolated. They're isolated in the Security Council, and they're isolated around the globe.
And while the Russian Defense Ministry released unverified images claiming to show a drone strike on Ukrainian military positions while Russian tanks roll through unidentifiable wooded areas, the mayor of Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, says Ukrainians will fight for their country's life, but that the fight is bigger than Ukraine.
We don't want back to USSR. We see our future as democratic, modern European country. And we expect support from whole world, because we fighting not just for Ukraine, we fighting for values, we fighting for whole modern world. We have to stop Putin altogether.
Thousands of Ukrainians in cars on the outskirts of the capital line up to evacuate, with some placing signs in their car windows reading "children" and "evacuation." But Ukrainians fight on. This unverified video from the Ukrainian military claims to show a Russian combat helicopter shot down, the latest in a resistance effort widely regarded as fierce. As Ukrainian armed forces, many of whom were civilians just weeks ago, prepare for Russian advances on Kyiv, the West seems prepared to continue material support, stopping short of military engagement with Russia. Arash, Arabasadi, VOA News, Washington.